So this is going to be another movie review. This one's called Bamba. I'm going to use a couple personal anecdotes in this video just to give you a heads up because you're only going to watch it for 1 second and then turn it off anyway. But this is a 1987 flick starring Lou Diamond Phillips. I had 3 issues with this movie, but overall I gave it 5 stars because it just grabbed me emotionally, and it was a real tearjerker. The music is great, the cinematography is great, the direction is great, and the acting is great. Um, that being said, I thought Lou Diamond Phillips was miscast because he's kind of a skinny little geek in this movie. My understanding is that Richie Valens, the rock and roll star that he was portraying, was quite chubby in 1958 or whenever this takes place. Um, that's the first issue I had. Again, minor issue because it's merely an aesthetic issue rather than and it doesn't detract in any way from the quality of the film. It's just an image thing, which doesn't make any difference to me, really. And then Lou Diamond Phillips' lip syncing was pretty bad. I mean, it was worse than Milli Vanilli, worse than Backbeat. Backbeat was a terrible movie, by the way. I didn't really, well, it was mediocre. so, So I love this movie so much, I decided to give it to my former coworker. Um, yeah, my good friend. Good friend. Um, as a birthday present, along with Backbeat. Um, the third issue that I had was there's a scene with the Big Bopper. I didn't really enjoy the lyrics to that song, and I thought the Jackie Wilson song was kind of corny. But and I really didn't understand. Well, there are 4 things now. I really didn't understand why Richie Valens wanted to buy a house for his mother. I mean, maybe that's what motivated him to become a rock star. They sort of feeded off each other. It was almost like the family was feeding off each other's energy, which was pretty cool in a way, actually. Added to the emotional appeal of the film. Give you the sense that the family really sticks together and during tough times. So this is going to be a rags to riches story. It's about Richard Valenzuela, who later changed his name to Richie Valens when he became a big rock and roll star in the late 50s. And tragically died in a plane crash with Buddy Holly. Prior to watching this, I didn't even know that he was in the plane with Buddy Holly, and that's how he died. I didn't know much about Richie Valens at all. I didn't know that Los Lobos got their claim to fame from this movie, and they became really popular after this. But I did know that they were really popular at this time. I just didn't know how they did it until I watched this movie. My stepdad was into Los Lobos, partly because we lived in Redwood City, where there's also known as Little Tijuana. So there's that, and like I said, it's a rags to riches story. The other anecdote I wanted to tell you personally was that I had a high school teacher at the time teaching U.S. history, and this guy absolutely hated Ronald Reagan, president at the time. His big beef with Ronald Reagan is that Ronald Reagan liked to read those those novels, those kind of uplifting novels. I forget what they're called. It starts with an A, but anyway, this high school teacher, Hal Urban, he claimed that he met Harry Truman, and Harry Truman was his favorite president of all time. My stepdad didn't really care for this guy's arrogance, but I think both my stepdad and my high school teacher hated Ronald Reagan. My mom hated Ronald Reagan too. She thought he dumped all the psych ward patients out on the street or something. Anyway, Ronald Reagan presidency was deteriorating fast at this time. Um, I sort of liked him as a orator. He was good at making speeches. Um, but other than that, his presidency pretty much sucked, except for the first 2 years. And so around 1987, I guess rags to riches type stories, uh, books that Ronald Reagan read were popular, and this movie is just like that. I mean, Connie Valenzuela, Richie's mom, is picking fruit in some kind of labor camp, and then later on she becomes a waitress. And the oldest kid, Richie's half brother Bob, is a belligerent drunk. Um, he can't seem to do anything right. He's got a lot of energy like Richie, but they're always fighting with each other, and Bob is a source of tension in the family. Um, so there's that, and great acting by Eli Morales, by the way. I thought they overemphasized Bob quite a bit, but it actually added to the emotional appeal of the movie. Like I said, it's a real tearjerker type movie, and so there's that. Richie keeps having recurring dreams of plane crashing, and then he talks about it actually happening at his school, and the only reason he's survived from all the plane wreckage that came down on the school was that he was at his grandfather's funeral, which is kind of ironic. And then there's Donna, which she named after a song. Man, I'm looking at the bonus features in this DVD, and Connie Valenzuela looks disgusting. So does Donna. Look like the burgers and the fries caught up with them eventually, both of them. Um, Maybe cigarettes too. Who knows? Anyway, there's that, and the other personal anecdote that I wanted to mention was that I actually watched the Buddy Holly story with my cousins back in San Bernardino about 30 years ago, and we were just watching it on television at the time. I don't know if cable was around, but it might have been on network television, or maybe my uncle had cable. I don't know. But we watched that, and I thought it was pretty boring. I mean, sitting there in front of the tube for an hour and a half, 2 hours, watching Buddy Holly. But maybe I'll watch it again without the commercials, just to round out my 50s rock and roll genre of movies. Oh, there's also the Stray Cats dude plays the Big Bopper, or Eddie Cochran, or one of those dudes. That was a song that I said that I disliked the lyrics. I thought they were kind of dumb and corny, 50s lyrics. Um, Eddie Corcoran is a good performer, but the Big Bopper I'm not too sure about. Never heard of him. So February 3rd, 1959 was supposed to be the day that rock and roll died because Buddy Holly, Richie Valens, and or Richard Valenzuela and the Big Bopper were all three of them were in the plane. But then I think the Beatles took over British Invasion, and then there was Beach Boys music. Um, so there's that. Like I said, I didn't like Backbeat as much as this one, simply because the Beatles are like five blokes from Liverpool with the personality of a ham sandwich. Not very interesting to me, but I thought Richie Valens had more energy. And like I said, his brother Bob kind of feeds off that energy. It's almost like yin and yang type thing. The good versus the bad, sort of feeding off each other. And according to the movie, Bob was the reason why he came up with some of this stuff. I mean, Bob played the drums in the Hick bar. Bob took him to Tijuana to get a hooker, and that's where he learned how to sing La Bamba. So there's that. They sort of influenced each other. They're a close-knit family. That was pretty cool. I enjoyed that part, and great movie all around. I can't say enough good things about it. I loved it so much, like I said, that I bought it on Amazon for like $7 to send to my former coworker up in San Francisco as a birthday gift, even though the birthday doesn't come up until March 26th. I used to share Netflix with my coworker in San Francisco, so I can't do that now since they decided to get rid of me after 12 years. And so I just buy stuff on Amazon every year, and now my coworker has a whole library full of DVDs that I bought for as birthday gifts. Anyway, cool. So, old friends. I miss those days sharing movies with old friends. You know, we'd go to the VHS store or the video store, and we'd share video rentals from those kind of stores too in San Francisco. So those days, I miss those days, and now I'm just sitting here watching by myself, buying shit on Amazon for an old friend. Anyway, have a good day. Laters.